Good afternoon. The game has started. My opponent's to go first. I have the Z. It would be nice to play off the Z together with one or both of the G and M, because those are my least bingo-y tiles. My opponent has changed to so what's best? I can play Mose. I could play Trez, but that's keeping the G and the M, and there's some negative synergy going on if I keep both of those. I'm wondering about Groze, Groze. Not totally sure about that. Well, this may not be best. The rack leaves okay and the score is good. And that's pretty dreadful. But if I can play off 3 consonants through a vowel, that would probably be better than changing. So I could play Gleg in column 10, keeping NRST. Mose takes a D and an S after it, but I can't utilise that hook. It may well be worth changing here, because if I changed GGLN, my rack lead with RST is pretty strong. But my opponent has just increased the value of Gleg. So 19 points, that is better than changing. Not great. I have the U-V combination. Can't see any bingos here. I'm just wondering if there is a bingo through an E, were an E to be provided. But I can't see one. So how can I play off the V and the U? And I would like to play off both because the remaining tiles are bingo-y. So I could play off VROU. My opponent gets 19 for rag. Do I have anything through the T of tired? Well, I can't see anything. Wow, this is tricky. I may not be able to play off the V and the U. I'm looking in column 12 to see if I can play parallel to tired. So I could play Vor, and then at least I'm keeping the UN combination. 18 points, that's better than changing. Well, not a bingo-y rack, but I have got the J as a good scoring tile. Quite a tight board. Vor is a blocky move. It opens up a bingo lane in column 13, but for anything other than a bingo, column 13 is a low-scoring spot. I've got the U and A for going in front of M. Great, only 12 points for my opponent. While I've got a poor rack, it's helpful that my opponent isn't scoring massively. So can I play off my J? Through an E, I would have Fanjet. I can play Junto. For 20 points. I don't think much more was available. Great, I draw the first blank. I've got catfish with the blank as a C. Can't see anywhere for that. Rio takes nothing in front. Mosed takes nothing after. So what I need to do is look for 7-letter bingos because column 13 is available. Ur doesn't take an S after it, but row F is available for a double overlap. Now, more floaters, in particular an R. So do I have... Well, I have starfish. Great, so I have a bingo. Doesn't get doubled, but it's always good to have a bingo in one's back pocket. I'm just wondering how best to look for bingos beginning or ending with R. Certainly considering fish as an ending or a beginning to a word, I can't see anything with the R. Well, let me look for 7-letter bingos. Mind you, a 7-letter bingo in row F would open up column 1, and a 7-letter bingo in column 13, unless it, well, if it began with the S, then it probably would score more than starfish. So this is probably worth doing. That's catfish. That's probably the best set to consider a bingo through the R, but I don't think there's one there. Can't see anything there. Gosh, these look pretty good sets of letters. Sometimes when you see a bingo, it's harder to see a second one. Fattish. Nowhere for that. Unfaith through an N. Great. Well, I say great. I'm saying great because I have a bingo. Ah, the H gets doubled. Splendid. Starfish 67. And I draw the second blank. Fantastic. Well, there could well be a bingo here, but it's going to be low probability. But there's a fair bit of synergy going on with these tiles. The C and the K go well together. Now, what about panicky? I'm pretty sure that's good. Nowhere for it at the moment, but since my opponent's behind, he may open the board up. He plays a bingo for 62. Has he provided anywhere for panicky? And snare takes DR and S at the end, so he has not. He's provided a pretty good floater in the E. I am going to run through the alphabet, because I think that's what you have to do with the blank. Now the L goes well with the Y because of the LY and ILY ending. That's my panicky play. I'm just looking around being sure that it doesn't play. Ah, oh wow, look, it does. Parallel twine snare. Great, this is going down. Fantastic. I would have been most annoyed to have missed this. And slightly alarmed that I didn't consider this lane earlier. Anyway, I got there in the end. Panicky, 99. Well, I draw the X, which is good. I draw the U with the W, which is not so good. However, Wuxia is good, and that plays at B2. So I may be able to sort this rack out in one go. And that also plays in row F. And my opponent will probably be drawn to row O, leaving both those spots available. I have about 100-point lead. Wuxia also plays in column 14 towards the bottom. And Wuxia would leave NO, which is not a bad rack leave. With a 2-tile rack leave, it's always best to have one vowel and one consonant. Great, just 33 points for my opponent. So where for Wuxia? Let me see what this scores. That's 40, which is good. And that's a lot more than the row F spot. So have I missed anywhere else? Well, Wuxia is now playable across here in row N, but that's opening up O1. And it doesn't score as much as 40 points. So I'm going with this placement. Pretty good. Maybe a bingo here. Probably not a 7. Now I've got the W and U of Wuxia. Can't see anything through that. And then there's the C of Panicky. Beaconed is good, but that doesn't fit. I've got the B for score. 22 for my opponent. Nice slot in. So what would be a good rack leave would be A, D, E, N, which would be a play of B, O, and E. So can I play O, B, E somewhere? I note that Tav takes an A after it, so I could play Beano across here. I am ahead. That would help to expedite the end of the game. 21 points. I don't have an I or a U for going after the X. Ah, well, I could play Beano down here for quite a big score. Still 2 S's to come, so this is opening up column 15. But the rack leave's good and the score is great. Well, not a great rack, but that's often the case when you're drawing 5 random tiles. I do have the W for score. I no longer have an A for going after Tav. Column 15 is quite hot, not just for bingos ending in S, but also 4-letter plays at the bottom, where I may be able to play myself if my opponent doesn't go there. I could play Dowell in that spot. I'm looking to play off the W and a couple of vowels. Willie would do that, but I haven't seen anywhere great for that. Great, only 22 points for my opponent. He didn't have a high-scoring tile. So, now ear takes a D, so I can diminish column 15, or I can take it out as a bingo lane by playing wild. Gosh, if I play W... Well, let me put this down. Well, let me leave it open and think. If I place the W at the top, I'm providing an easy opportunity for my opponent to score 30 points. If I start 1 square down, then if I play wide, I'm keeping I-L... Or if I play wild, W-I-L-D, I'm keeping 3 vowels, which can't be optimal. So is there a play which ends D-E? Not sure there is. I could play load, L-O-W-E-D. Well, I don't want to keep 2 I's. 10 minutes on my clock. I could play now, N-O-W, for 18 points. Well, I'm thinking about... I'm 100 points ahead, so I quite like the idea of playing off 5 tiles. And it's not a disaster providing a 30-point scoring spot for my opponent, because there are other hotspots on this board, such as A1 and C1 across. Now, do I have a play there? I don't, because I have nothing to go underneath the U. So wild for 23, it's not a great score. And it's a poor rack leave. But I think with 4 vowels, including a duplicate I, then this is simply a tricky rack to sort out. And there's only 1 I and 2 O's left, so this isn't as bad as it could have been. I'm just going to change that to wheeled so that I'm not putting a vowel next to this double letter square. Great, I draw the Q with a U. There's also the U of Wuxia available. I can play my Q in row N at the bottom here. I can play quid or equid. Equid sorts the rack out better, but opens up O1. But that's not such a bad thing, because I'm 100 points ahead, or 120 points ahead. Non-bingo plays are not particularly helpful to my opponent. And he would have to burn 5 tiles to reach the E of equid. So I'm inclined to play that. The top right of the board is of not much use to me. I can't play my Q off in that spot. So let me get this down. $41 points, which is great. Have I missed anywhere for the Q, which is going to score more? Nope, I don't think so. Not great. Again, too many vowels, but not many vowels in the bag. Only 3 vowels in the bag, or unseen, out of 11 tiles. So my opponent could be swamped with consonants. I've now got a 130-point lead. Again, I can't utilise the W of wheel to good effect. I can't get my B down. I'm looking in row C to see if I've got a play, a 3-letter play across here. Well, I have. I could play bet. Wow, nice bingo by my opponent. 70 points for him. He's now only 60 points behind. And I can see his rack. He's got F-I-N-Y. I don't think he can go out in 1. Through a U, he would have unify. Ah, well, he's got nifty, hasn't he? So that means I have to play down here. Can't see a second spot for him. So what if I played oboe? Play of oboe, 30 points, great score. And I'm keeping lat. So I can play lats in row H or row O for not very much, but it is going out. And I am blocking nifty. I'm looking around for somewhere better for lat or alt. Arb takes an A after it as well as an S. Well, I can't use that now. Not seen anywhere great for... Munify, there was an out for my opponent. Well done to him. So pass to end the game. And the final score. 372 to my opponent, 426 to me. A winning margin of 54 points. So, good to get back to winning ways. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He changed. This was my rack. And, well, Moz or Mose. Yeah, Moz probably. Better, retaining the E. This was my opponent's rack. Well, that was the issue, overplaying the E, because the E is the commonest tile in the bag, so if I'd only played Moz, I'd be opening up an easy scoring opportunity. Now my opponent played Tired, and this was my rack. I played Gleg. Glent, possibly better. 3 consonants better than 4, although the G is not as good a tile as the N. But either of those is fine. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Rag. And now I struggled with this. Vrot, B12. Yeah, pretty similar to Vor, which was my play. My opponent's rack, he plays Rio. And then Junta, F2. Across here. F2, making Junta an R. That would have been good. 34 points. Sanja also available for 21. I played Junto for 20. Yeah, Junta certainly the play there. My opponent's struggling with vowels, plays Rioja. And this is where I only saw Starfish. What was available was Fishtail through the I, Baitfish and Faintish also through that I. And then E13, there were bingos beginning with F, making Earth. As you can see down here, Air Shaft available, scoring the same as Starfish. Well, I was glad I saw one of those. Well done if you saw any of the others. My opponent's rack, he plays Ensnare, and then I was fortunate to be able to have back-to-back bingos with Panicky, and that was the only bingo with this rack. My opponent's rack, he plays Decry. I have Wux here at B2, that looks best. My opponent has Vlog, and I played Beano at J14, and that looks fine. My opponent's rack, not good, unable to take advantage of this hotspot, plays Tune. And this was a rack I struggled with, and as you can see, no great scores available. And this is where I played Wheeled for 23, keeping IO. Well, possibly some of the others were marginally better. My opponent's rack, he plays Hom. And now I had Equid for 41, which was ideal for me. Except that I provided a floater for my opponent to bingo, and he found a great bingo with Spatties. Now I tried to block Nifty, but didn't spot Munify. But in any event, I didn't take a massive score sacrifice to block Nifty. As you can see, Oboe was the highest scoring play. So even if I'd seen Munify, Oboe probably would have been best. And then finally, Munify was playable, as was Tonify through TO. So, pretty exciting game. Good to win. And good to have back-to-back bingos. And I was particularly pleased to spot Panicky with all its high-scoring tiles and a 3-tile overlap. So, that's all for today.